treasure. And if you don't know it, some of you are too young, it's about Ralph Cramden. He was a bus driver in Manhattan. He was married to Alice, and they lived in a really run-down little tenement. All they had was a kitchen table, really no furniture at all. They had an icebox in the kitchen, and I doubt if they even had a bed. You never saw the bed. There was no carpet on the floor. Ralph was a bus driver, and they lived right on the edge, you could tell. Well, Ralph comes home one day, and he finds out that someone shows up at the door with a telegram saying that you have been put in the will of Mrs. So-and-so, and that you have inherited her treasure. And Ralph goes, this woman would get on the bus every day, and he would help her on the bus on 5th Avenue. She lived in a big brownstone in Manhattan. Now, if you know the cost of real estate in Manhattan, they just sold a penthouse for $70 million in Manhattan to a lovely family that paid cash. They were in the 1%, you know. So real estate's expensive in Manhattan, and Ralph inherited a brownstone on 5th Avenue. He inherited the treasure from Mrs. So-and-so, who had no family, who took it into this. And so Ralph said, Alice, go out and buy furniture for the house. And he says, and buy yourself a new outfit. Well, yeah, get a vacuum cleaner, because she was using a broom. And get the finest, and get a refrigerator, get a stove that works. And so Alice says, Ralph, you're jumping the gun, Ralph, you're jumping the gun. He says, Alice, I inherited the treasure. And the reading of the will is in 2 days. And so, as the story goes, Ralph goes in, and he's got his new outfit, and he's smoking a pipe, and he's ready to quit the bus company, and they're reading the will, and Mrs. So-and-so had no children, and she was worth $3 million, and all $3 million are left to the animal shelter here in Manhattan. And to Ralph Cramden, my beloved truck driver, I leave him my parrot Treasure. So he gets the parrot named Treasure. And Ralph goes, bah, 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 bah. You remember that, Ralph? That's how he did. Charlie didn't use it. So it's another story that makes the point. You know? So when I say claim your inheritance, what would that mean to you? You know, because remember, it's already been given. The Bible says, and if you want to use the Bible as a reference point, that's fine. Any sacred text is just pointing the way to the truth, and it's up to us to kind of figure it out. You know, like the fairy tales point to a deeper truth, the myths point to a deeper truth, the Bible points to a deeper truth. All of it is all pointing to something deeper. All that Hindu stuff, Anthony understands that. All those statues, they point to something. The statue of the Buddha, it reveals something. It's not about a man sitting there in meditation. You know, every little thing has some kind of intention behind it. If you can have that sleuthful way of looking at it. Carol's paintings, they all say something, but she'll never tell you what they mean, because it's open to you to figure it out. And you know, that's the beauty of it, because there is no right answer. Isn't that wonderful? It's this discovery process, so it's always fresh. What does life mean to you, Kim, today that it meant last week is probably entirely different. And that's the gift of the unfoldment of the mystery of life. You know, in ordaining Christy and Renee, James Golden was very big on saying this is a turning point. It's like a marriage. This is a turning point. Your life will never be the same. This turning point. Can you open to the mystery of that, to the unknown of that? Not so that you can know what it's going to look like, because you can't know. When you had children, do you have any clue what that was going to be like? Absolutely not. When you brought Blue into the house, my God. She got this beautiful dog one Sunday morning and all hell broke loose. Who would have thought? Sweet little dog that it was. You don't know what's going to happen. Trust me, you don't know.